Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Autocall Academy September 2021 session. My name is Peter Ryan, and I'm on the detection marketing team, and I'll be helping host the session today, along with several of our other presenters. Aaron, if you want to go to the next slide. Again, as always, we're using Teams Live today, and I think we have a really good agenda and also quite a varied agenda, which is nice to see with a bunch of different topics. We'll do an update on the Partner of the Month program and some of the exciting changes that we brought to that program to make it more fun and to give away even more prizes to folks that are participating. And then Patrick's going to share some information on the shortage status for the global component and metal shortages that we've all been experiencing around the world. Brian Shifley will talk about the Autocall Trusted Advisor Program, which is an exciting new development with training that I think you'll be really interested in. And then Elizabeth is going to share a debrief on a recent Hotel Point event to talk to you about what Hotel Point is and how that really is helping drive our business forward in the hospitality market. And finally, Aaron and I will give you a quick marketing update, some of the things that are going on within the marketing world and some of the things that we're doing to promote the brand globally. And then we'll wrap up as usual with Q&A. So on the next slide, Aaron, let's introduce Evan and talk about the Partner of the Month program.
Hey team, so Evan Bombino. I hope by now I've met all of you, but any newcomers, welcome and thanks for joining today. So as we've communicated over the past few calls, we have a Partner of the Month program where we want to reward our partners that are rewarding the brand most. And what I mean by that is, some of the categories that we have here. So attended the most events wearing an Autocall brand. Added the most Autocall brand to specs, organized the most lunch and learns, and obviously we're willing to back you on this, and we want to support you on this. And please continue to reach out to your ASMs for any one of these categories. So this time I want to congratulate our three inaugural winners for August: Frontier Fire Protection, attended the most events wearing the Autocall brand. If you haven't seen them already, I encourage you to join their LinkedIn channel, where they've also included several videos, good knowledge-based videos about Autocall and the advantages of Autocall. So thank you to Frontier Fire. Added the most Autocall brand to specs. This is massive for all of us. We did bring Autocall to market to gain share. In the best way to do that for all of us is to get us added to specifications. So thank you and a big shout out to Iron City Fire Protection. And the next category here was organize the most lunch and learns. So Allstate Fire Protection is the winner of this one. And I would say this is a great example of the partnerships that can take place for lunch and learns. This took place in Buffalo, New York, at quite a cool event. Unfortunately, living north of the border, I wasn't able to get there, even though it's a short hop, skip, and a jump away. But I only heard great things out of this, and this is where we collaborated with Allstate to bring in some partners and discuss the product as well as Allstate's capabilities. Each one of these winners of each category will receive $500 credit towards purchasing any Autocall swag that they do choose. So congratulations. And as we move forward, and Peter, I don't know if there's one more slide, but as we move forward, there'll be multiple categories. Here we go. There'll be our three core categories, as we just explained, two lightning round categories that will be announced each month, and those are ever changing. And we're looking for your feedback as well on what those what you would like these categories to be, what you think will help us build our brand and your brand. And then partners will earn 1 point for each activity in each category. And how do we track this? It's really tracked by your ASM. So whether it's social media presence, make sure you tag your ASM, or if you're putting on a lunch and learn, I would hope that we're there, or at least know enough about it that it's happening that we can add to your point lists. And whatever category comes up, whether it's adding spec share, please make sure to communicate that back through your ASM, and that's how we'll be tracking our points. And a big shout out and thank you to Eric, our intern that has had the ability to stay on with us while he's away at school, helping to manage this program. He's doing an excellent job doing it. So thank you to Eric. And then just lastly, you see here in bold, the way it works is each month we will add up each one of the categories and get you your prize. So for this month, as we close in the last couple of days of this fiscal year, which is exciting as we close up another exciting year and get into a new year, we want to reiterate the fact that this competition's going. There's still more time to do it or to get your points built up. Make sure, one, social media presence, you're tagging your ASM. If you've organized presentations, virtual or in person, please make sure to reach out to your ASM and show them. Again, I would hope that they were involved in these conversations. Topic 3, which will remain as our core category, is added spec share. So please, again, reach out to your ASM as well. As things start to open up, please leverage the support that you have around you, not just your ASMs, but your FSEs. Is a great opportunity to bring them in front of your engineers and consultants and speak specifically to our technology and leverage their technical knowledge to speak to it in front of those consultants and engineers. And then our lightning round categories, which what I alluded to earlier is what we're introducing here starting in September and going forward. First category is the most 4010 and most 4100 color touchscreen displays sold. And the next one would be most Autocall Academy webinar attendances. So as we sit here today and look at the attendee list, and it's actually a bit lackluster today, unfortunately, as we close out the month, but you'll get awarded points for having more people attend the Academy, the Autocall Academy webinar. So at this time, I applaud all the winners and thank you all. And I'm going to turn it over to Patrick to give us a quick update on shortages.
Seven, I just ran and got my shirt. I don't know if this can be a category moving forward, but wearing partners gear. So if I get a point, awesome. You can see my nice little NSG Life Safety with Autocall on the sleeve that I got recently. So if that's a category, mark me off.
I must go check my mailbox to see if my shirt's in the mail. Appreciate that, Dan.
Thank you on the shortages update. Right, just really need to say a huge thank you. I know this isn't an easy time, and we recognize that it is incredibly challenging for each and every one of you as you run your businesses with the challenges that this global supply chain challenge is creating at home for you, and just want to say thank you for the perseverance, thank you for the patience as you work with us, and really want to give a quick snapshot on where we are, and more importantly where we're going. So where we are right now is better than where we were. So if we look at it and what we're producing each month, we'll have our highest production period in September over the prior 3 months, and really the reason has everything to do with having more components. So we certainly do anticipate, and if you pay attention to any of the experts or you read about some of the automotive manufacturers, everyone's talking about the challenges that will last well into 22. Some are even saying into early 23. I think part of what we are seeing is a scenario in which their parts are starting to, I won't say become easier to find, but you can find parts or components. The issue then comes down to how many and how much are you willing to pay for them. So if we look at it right now, probably the two biggest challenges we have had have to do with our addressable panels and then our addressable peripherals. So if we look at the addressable panel situation as we move into Q1, the components that we've been short there, it's actually one component primarily. We have a large order coming in that we were able to secure from another source that will support, roughly 2/3 to 3/4 of what we have demand for right now, both past due and then in Q1. And so that's a scenario that we'll continue to search for that final piece. But that's, or the final either 1/3 or 25%. But that's something that we're excited about because it does mean that we're able to produce more. And then you have the peripherals. Again, that's one component, a different component that we're able to secure. Roughly right now, we've got about 60% of that. So those are the two big things that have been holding us up. Batteries, I know, were a challenge for a while. We have batteries in stock that are far greater than the demand that we have right now. And it's just a matter of shipping them out from our distribution center. So some positive signs are starting to occur from a supply chain standpoint. And what we expect to see are some of these, what we'll call spot outages, that we then need to go do a spot buy. I think most of you probably have seen that we did announce some price increases to offset that. And offset some of the challenges that we are seeing and how much more we have to pay in order to get product. But I do think that we are seeing a positive shift from a directional standpoint, and it's just a matter of continuing to focus on those components that plague us, so that we're able to better support you. The second piece has to do with freight and logistics. So if we look at it, right now, the global freight and logistics picture is pretty scary. So it's a fight each time to get a container, and so that's become something that we will expect to see for some time to come. And obviously we're paying more to move things both via sea and then to move things via truck. One of the things that we have done for the past, I think it's about 2 years now, is we've picked up the freight for our Autocall partners, and that's something that candidly we need to look at to see if there's some changes that need to happen with that, based off some of the added costs and just how expensive it's getting to handle the freight at this point in time. So those are really the two updates. We'll keep you posted, obviously, if anything changes from a freight standpoint, but please know that it's becoming, or it continues to be challenging to get product to us and then to get product to you, from a transportation standpoint, from a supply chain, and the shortages that we've seen previously. Again, thank you for your patience, but I would say that it does appear that some things are getting better, despite this fly that keeps landing on my head. Sorry about that distraction. But let us know if there's certain unique large orders that you have. Let's get them placed so that we can make sure that we see that demand and we understand that that's coming, and we'll continue to focus on driving a smoother supply chain and experience for all of you. So thank you.
Great, thank you, Patrick. Really good summary. Just as a side note on that, I read an article the other day talking about the backups in California, the record number of ships backed up coming into Long Beach, the record number of days waiting to get unloaded, and then that I think the figure they said was the containers were 5x now in terms of cost. So an amazing change in the marketplace. All right, so now next we're going to introduce Brian Scheifele. Brian is going to take us through some brand new developments in the learning and development team. You're up, Brian.
Great, thank you, Peter, and good afternoon, everybody. You can switch to the next slide, Pete. Great, so the first thing I want to cover is what are the new things that we've done and what are the current updates that we have on our learning management platform. So one of the top things we'd like to talk about is the 4010 ES program, which we're moving to e-learning. So on October 1st, you're going to find that we're going to be removing the 4010 from the classroom course and placing it on the LMS. That'll give the learners the ability to go and do that hardware training off to the side, and gives us a better use of that classroom time for more hands-on learning experiences. So you'll be seeing that in the LMS starting on October 1st. And then the 4010 ES program is going to get a new number. It's called AC 206. for the in-person class, and with a V at the end for the virtual training. And that too is already on the schedule and is available starting October 1st, and people can sign up for it now. And I might add that we've placed 4 different iterations of in-person training on the schedule due to the demand that we got from the surveys that we put out there in the recent months. So we're really excited about that. The 2 locations we're using for in-person training are in Massachusetts, in Westford, and in Boca Raton, Florida. So we hope that people will take advantage of that because we're ready for you and we're ready to have you come back to class. So one of the new services that we put out starting in October is our ability to come on site and provide training for you. So if you have sales training needs or you have technical learning needs and you'd like to have a trainer come on site, contact your ASM and they'll get in touch with us and we can work that out. So for virtual sales training, there's an enormous amount of classes that they do for the sales and onboarding. First of all, I'd like to call out the 444 that you see on this list here. The AC 444 is the initial fire product sales applications, and it's the one that we'll do on site for you. So that's part of that. We'll come to you and do it on site. And so again, so if you want us to come on site to do any type of sales training, go ahead and contact your ASM and they'll get in touch with us and we can work it out. So we do have several other courses that you see here, which is the Sales and Applications Fundamentals, which covers all 3 panels. We also have the Sales and Applications for audio systems and for fire alarm networking. So real training for you to get up to speed on the sales and design applications. So you know that the Selection Navigator is got the new 4100 ES configurator. So our sales trainers are really proficient in that now. So if you need them to give you some coaching, they're available for you to do that. So again, so contact your ASM and we can set that up. So coming in FY22, which starts for us in October, we're working on a program to bring additional value to the dealers by having one of our senior trainers for sales come to you and be available to do guided system design and engineering. So we're happy to get into some of these dealers that need that support early on to really start with a real project and design it all the way through. They'll come in and they'll sit with you for 8 hours at a time. And so again, if that's something that interests you, please contact your ASM and we're happy to set that up for you. Next slide, Pete. So for the technical training, like we talked about before, there's a little bit of a couple changes. The 4007 ES programming course now is AC 206 or the V for virtual. And so that's the only change on that one. The 207, like we said, is an LMS course now. The other 3 post classes that you see there, which is the 4100 ES or you get into the ESNet, that's still the same. And those are available in the LMS to sign up now. And I would like to point out the 4007 ES mobile on-site training is one of our premium offerings. It's where we send a panel to the dealer and your learner uses the panel on site and our trainer is elsewhere in the US along with other students. That program is going extremely well. There are a lot of people that signed up for it and paid for those seats. So if you're interested in being part of that program, please get in contact with your ASM and we can make that happen for you. Next slide, Pete. So what about additional training support? So we have a couple of things to help you get through your technical learning and your daily learning needs or refresher needs. One of them is the ULearn videos. So our team has put together several hundred videos on how to program panels in various configurations or explaining how something works or explaining how to disassemble notification appliances that are somewhat difficult without breaking and so on. So there's a lot of videos there. So to access those videos on what's called our ULearn platform, which is like a kind of a YouTube type site for us, it's internal. So you log into Selection Navigator, HVAC Navigator, and then you would choose the training link, and that training link will bring you right to the learning videos. So so that's a unique resource that we are very proud of and have put a lot of time into putting those videos up there. So take a look. Some of it may help you today or may help you tomorrow. There's also the knowledge base, which is run by our technical services group. Every time a call is placed, those details are documented in in a system. The question and then the resulting answer is also put in there, and they're published so that they're searchable. So first time problems that we see, we put in there, and that gets up into the system, and people are able to look for that right from their phones or right from their laptop on the job site. Extremely helpful to you for anybody who's learning or maybe has some kind of a weird question or wants to learn how to program something in a certain way. All those answers are mostly there in a self-supporting place. And lastly, on this slide, we do a newsletter every month that you may be aware of. Peter puts out for us, and we all put content into. So whether it's sales learning or what's new coming from the development team or what's new in technical learning, the newsletter covers all of that, and that comes out each month about this time. I think actually the next one's going out today, actually. So if that's something that you're interested in, you can sign up to be on that list by using your phone and getting to this link, or you can contact your ASM and we can get you right on that list. Next slide, Pete. One of the things we've been challenged with over time that we've got a lot of feedback from a lot of the external business partners, and that is to come in and try to provide some business services training. So not only we're really good at what we do on the product side, but we wanted to branch out and be able to help new technicians that come on board. Maybe they're new to fire alarm and they don't know the genre and need to learn more about the individual pieces and parts. Maybe it helps them prep for NICET. Maybe they need some CEUs to keep a license going. So we've come up with these individual courses and we put them into bundles. So as you can see the list here, emergency communication systems, fire alarm fundamentals, fire alarm intermediate, and there's one for inspections and maintenance, and the list goes on. So these courses are available today on the LMS platform. You just have to go in and do a search for bundle and you'll see all the results come back up. There's also an all access pass feature. If you'd like that, please contact your ASM and we'll be happy to work with you to do that. So there's a lot of modules in each one of these. Sometimes there's 5, sometimes there's 10, and the prices vary a little bit. But the best part about it is, so if you have somebody who's new and needs an education, we can provide that. And we can also help people who need refresher training. And that's another goal of having these courses there. So we're really excited to have these out there for you to be able to take advantage of. Next slide, Pete. Okay, so the next thing that we were able to come back to the business with a solution to some problems that we were presented with was, again, we try to help those technicians who need to get that education, but we also know that there are dealers who are coming at the business for the first time. Maybe they were techs, maybe a few salespeople, we've seen that. So some of these dealers may be able to take advantage of this new program, and that is the ability to learn business services across the spectrum of what it is the business is. So we want to be able to increase your skills. It helps to reduce a little bit of turnover, gain some industry leadership, and that's what the Trusted Advisor program is. Next slide, Peter. Thanks. So the major part of this slide here is what do these business drivers that we're going to be making available to you to learn from, what are those? So we're going to be covering sales content, customer service, leadership and professional development. As you can go back to the next slide, that's fine, Pete. There you go. So leadership and professional development and strategy and vision. So these are the 4 main business drivers for, say, a new dealer, a new company. So we want to be able to provide the different sales training to help you fill that pipeline or get that customer service skills, whether you have an inside sales group or you're dealing with some technical services communication. So we can help you with that. We can also help with company culture, and we have a very good diversity and inclusion program here at Johnson Controls, and we want to be able to share a lot of what we've learned to you so you can pass that on to your teams. And then when it gets to strategy and vision, we want to be able to help you learn to attain skills in business acumen, in some technical business skills, and so on. And so this is a new thing that we released in our ducted systems side of the business. It's become very successful with the external dealers that have signed up to take this training. The training is a year long. It's a long thing, and there are a number of different pieces to how we divvy up those offerings. So let's go to the next slide, Pete. So at the top level, there's something called the Elite. Now, this is a subscription service to all the courses that we offer. It's a full subscription to every virtually instructed course that we have to offer in the External Business Partner Program. So you'll get all the virtually instructed courses, access to all the e-learning of technical sales, business, and so on. We'll even provide a virtual needs analysis on site to see, you bring us in, you're a new business, tell us what you do and how you do it, and we'll be able to provide a detailed education plan to be able to help you get to where you need to be. And then also with a professional leadership coach, there are 6 sessions to help you to become a better business leader. So it's a great program at the elite level, and we're able to come on site, of course, with some travel expenses to be covered. But again, it's a great opportunity to get into the top level and learn all the different business leadership and strategy features that we have to offer. So next slide, Pete. So from the elite level, we get down to the middle level, which is called the select. So the select subscription includes full access to the entire e-learning library, all the virtual led instructor product training for sales, and we'll do that needs analysis assessment with you as well. And again, we can also do it on site. Next slide, Pete. And then lastly, at the lowest tier is our Pro subscription. So the Pro subscription includes the access to the product e-learning library and all the virtual led product training. And the beauty about the Pro is it's free. So you go onto the LMS and you sign up for it. That's how easy it is. And so with this 12-month access, you get the a la carte VILT and any live courses that come available. You're able to attend those. It includes the 441 and the other 2 audio and networking classes as well. And that includes the AC 444 course, which is that we come to you to give you that new onboarding training for sales. And we're happy to do it as just with the expense of travel. Okay, so again, so if you have any interest in these subscriptions, go to the LMS, find the Pro subscription after October 1st, and sign up for it. You can't do better than free, right? And look at the other offerings too to see if they interest you or your business. Next slide, Pete. And I'm going to talk just a second about technical services. You can go ahead and go forward. So technical services is a really important part of what we do. So on the product side, we have training and tech support. So training an integral part of getting your folks trained to be certified to work on the product, and the technical support folks are there to help you when you need a hand. So that's sales engineering support, which you can get. There's a number here on the screen. You can also send any design questions or configuration questions like that to the email address on the screen, which is called intersaleseng@jci.com. That goes into a system that logs your email, gives it a case number, and then assigns it to somebody to get back to you with the answer to your question. So there's also the applications engineering team, and they help with programming of your system. So there's an email address here, tsp.programspecs@jci. So they'll help you with programming a panel. If you're not comfortable moving to the 4100 and you've sold one, we can help you. We can help you get the programming support that you need. TSW Graphics, TrueSight Workstation, is a really complex thing sometimes, and they can help you with the graphics needs and helping you to understand and lay those out, which is custom specific and learns beyond the training class that you would go, which is the ACO 51 TrueSight course. And they'll also do custom message service. Many different cities have female voice, male, certain things that have to be done by code. They can help you get those recordings done and then placed at your site. So the common number for tech support is the number on the screen, 800-846-7611, and they're there waiting for your call. They're open until 8 p.m. On Eastern time. And Peter, I think that's it. You go to the next slide. And that's it. So thank you very much, Peter, and thank you very much, the Autocall group.
Thanks, Brian. Really great update. A lot of good new programs that you're talking about too. So next up, we have Elizabeth. Elizabeth is going to take us through a debrief on the recent Hotel Point event. So are you there, Elizabeth? Can you can go ahead and share your screen now.
I am. Great. Excuse me, Brian, that was great. I'm really excited about some of those training classes I'd like to go through. And I think it's great that we can cherry pick now. This is fantastic. Really, customize to each specific office. Can everyone hear me?
Yep, and we're seeing your screen now too.
Okay, great. So I have so much I want to share in such a short time, and forgive me, I've got a little cold, losing my voice, and I've got a sick little guy in the back that may actually pipe up too, so I just wanted to make that clear. We went out to Arizona to Hotel Point a couple of weeks ago, and I want to share a quick video with you so that you understand. I could speak to it, but there's really no way to, unless you have the visuals too, to really understand. Having all the engineers from the hoteliers and not only the brands, but the portfolio ownership groups all attend this meeting. It's like a 72-hour sleepaway camp for engineers in the hotel industry. It's the only way I can describe it. We're all on site. We're all committed to eat our meals together, to do all of our planning together. And it's absolutely a marathon, but what gets done in those 3 days is just bar none. Well, then there's also some golf and things. So I should say 5 days, but from a work perspective, it's nothing but work talk. And I want to share, again, some of the feedback, but I think it would be really powerful if you guys could just quickly take a look at this video, and hopefully you'll hear the sound. Do you hear that, Peter?
No, I'm not getting any sound.
Okay, so I noticed that on this it was a little bit different, even though I said it wasn't. So give me just 1 second. I'm going to quickly. So we were out in Arizona at this amazing hotel, and I'll just say this, quickly, but stop sharing. When I tell you about the actual property itself and some of the things that we experienced, to have the hoteliers there and to go through that all in person, it was really great. It was pretty raw, but we all recognize the importance of the products that need to be in any hotel that's out there, retrofit or new build. And after going through the feature sets of our technology and what is offered, it's really hard for them then to go back and look at some of the other manufacturers out there because they just don't have the bells and whistles that are very specific to their pain points. Okay, so you should be able to hear audio now with this.
Yeah, we got it.
Great.
Hotel Point is a connective event that allows you to have both boardroom meetings with a number of the executives that you want to meet with from different brands. But then the second part of it are the one-on-ones, where you get dedicated time with those same owners and developers for a more personalized conversation.
This is my time of year that I get a chance to see everybody in the industry that I've become such good friends with. Whether we do business or not, it's the one place a year where we connect.
Really aligns all of us executives and the suppliers and brings together the best of the best in the industry, not only just in their skill set, but as people and persons in the hospitality industry.
They're all decision makers, so you're talking to all the players that would be involved in the complex sale that would be taking place when dealing with a hotel.
We get the who's who of the industry together, so they've done all the work before we ever get here.
Some years we'll meet with people, they don't necessarily need our services. The next year, they may be with a different company or something, and they remember us.
Coming here allows me the opportunity to not have to search for those people. They come straight to me.
I love the format. I find it very interesting to hear other people's questions when speaking with the various presenters. So it gives you a little more insight and it's a lot more collaborative.
What I love is getting to kind of listen and learn from my peers in the industry that's in the boardroom session, but then also getting to connect with particular product areas that are my focus for that particular year.
Trade show, you're standing around waiting for somebody to come along. Here, you're actually having conversations with folks that want to talk to you.
I know who I'm going to meet. It's structured and organized almost perfectly that I get the best use out of my time. And for that reason, I come back every year.
Just an exciting experience that is long lasting into, I think I've created relationships for 9-10 years now, but there's always new blood coming in. So it's just a fabulous experience.
We've found over the years that there is really no other reason to go after any other type of show because we get everything we need right here at Hotel Point.
We don't do trade shows. This is the only thing we do.
It's a no-brainer, and this is one of the favorite events that we love to do. every year.
Okay, so that really describes Hotel Point very well. Oops, let me just. Okay, so how can I share all of this in 5 or 10 minutes? Let's see. And I will send some follow-up materials as well. But after having these deep dive conversations, whether it's in the boardroom, presenting, lunch, everyone really has to mix and mingle. So to be able to get through that many conversations in 72 hours, and really it's interesting because you hear so many people and they want to talk about the challenges that they're having. But when you show them a solution, they're going off and finding other hoteliers they work with and bringing them over and saying, tell them about that self-test feature. Because they recognize, life safety, a lot of these, and especially at a local level, the hotels look at this as a commodity and they have to buy it and they want lowest cost to comply. And it's very difficult when you're bidding to be able to present the feature sets that show them the ROI, because everyone thinks there's no ROI in a fire alarm system. Well, there's certainly an expense, and that's what we highlighted for them, right? So who's who in the zoo? How do we educate people at that level, all the engineers within the specific brands and the portfolio groups? And then how at a local level can we create more of like a boots on the ground grassroots effort to get everybody on the same page? So here's a list of the hotel executives that we met with in the course of 2 days. I know it's a lot, and you can see that some of them, they break out their portfolio group, whether they have X amount of economy versus extended stay. And we've seen a new sort of restructure throughout, this COVID time where everyone's remote, rather than having a portfolio of, excuse me, properties within a certain area, a region. A lot of the groups, Marriott has also transitioned to having one person cover X amount of the same brand, right? So if it's Residence Inn, they're going to have a Residence Inn portfolio. Within that, as an engineer, they have all of these various companies that own Residence Inns, right? And every time they change hands, it prompts an upgrade for life safety. So they give us what we refer to as the Hotel Point Bible, and this is one page from it. So each of the brands and each of the what we call the hotel executives, we share things as vendors, of course, within the book. And then on their side, they're very open to telling us realistically how many remodels and new constructions they expect, right? So sometimes we're working with the capital planning project group. Sometimes we're talking with the regional engineer, VP of engineering, director of construction design. These are the types of conversations that we had. And every time we meet with them during the one-to-one, we pull out this page and we make sure that we're recognizing, is this realistically this many models, this remodels, right? Or new builds. What's not included in this, and probably will be next year, is modular buildings. A lot of hotels are going to mod builds, right? So the Autocall product line is perfectly suited for that, right? Whether you're doing a retrofit or you're doing a new construction and then you go to mod build, if the goal is to keep everything perfectly wrapped and ready to install, meaning the soap dispensers are done, the bedding is made, it is wrapped in saran wrap, the carpet is covered. They don't want any traffic, foot traffic in that room unless absolutely necessary. So when they look at the conventional notification appliances in that space, there's often a lot of foot traffic required as a result, whereas here we have the option to override instructions with custom controls programming and assign new instructions to that device, check the sensitivity ratings, all of those things direct from our panel, which again, it just puts us ahead. And here's another example of IHG, and each brand standard is different. So not only at a local level, you're looking at like how to meet code, right? But what's the brand standard? A lot of people don't realize that IHG still requires pull stations in their hallways. So if the local level doesn't know it and it's not there from a previous owner and IHG takes that flag, someone does the install when they commission the system, somehow that property will show that deficiency against their brand standard and they'll be required within 12 or 24 months to add the necessary devices to the system to meet the standard. So the more that we can know about what these standards and details are up front, we can really, help to bridge that gap of knowledge. So I just wanted to share, this is what we provided them with there. Knowing who's who in the zoo, this is a large organization. You know, the dealer network is very new. So making sure they understood that they have field sales engineers that can work with the engineering groups or anyone who has technical questions. And if they don't want to speak with someone in sales, and obviously you understand that that's not, you know, meant as a statement of, you know what I mean. But if they just want technical knowledge, they have an arsenal of people within Global Products, between the technical training department that we have that is growing and expanding, and all of our departments are growing and expanding, looking to make a better customer experience. You know, I think the field sales engineers, and being brand agnostic in that sense, that it's really just about the technology. So if that's what they're looking for, great. As soon as they want to know who is who in terms of your Autocall network within any given space, please refer to your map. If you don't remember it, call me and I'll send you to the right person. And then from there, the ASMs can distribute these leads. And we are looking to pull them together now. It's taking a little bit of time because we did have so many meetings. But just want to quickly run through the list of feature sets that matter most. And I think some of them are pretty intuitive. One that I felt was really kind of a start. I expected the addressable notification, the self-test feature, to be one big one. And everybody knows that when they are doing any work in the property, right, and they have to replace deficiencies and then go back, they have to test the whole circuit again, right? So just the fact that they can do the self-test feature, do work on deficiency devices, and then run, you know, an individual report, or even run the self-test feature again before anybody can complain, things over in 3 seconds. But the reporting process, hotels are probably one of the most strained. The hotel managers, they are constantly being asked for the latest test and inspection report. They're always being asked for reports and trying to go through what was submitted through whatever person is running their test and inspection, and then finding that paperwork to then send to this person. So learning about the reports that come from our panel as well was really, I mean, there was a big response to it. I was pretty surprised. I think some of these things we just take for granted because we see them so much, and they're like, if I had that, it would save me so much time and money. So when we think through the self-test feature, even at this beautiful hotel we were in, I had a push to test every 7-day smoke alarm in my room. And it's a Westin Flag, which is a Marriott property. I did explore the entire property and did find addressable notification in one of their buildings. However, the rest of them were still pretty antiquated. So had the conversation when I heard a T3, and this is honest to God, I'm in my room for the first time putting things together for Hotel Point, and I keep hearing a T3. And then the next day I keep hearing it again from the other side. And I learned from the engineer that they were actually doing the push to test every 7 days and had to have the HJ on site. So when we went through this, it was kind of a big laugh at the end of the conference where the guy was like, I can't believe how much money we spend as an organization, not only to be testing the way we do, because time is money, just the ink alone it takes to print the flyers they have to put under every single door. And then from there, you have people that will call and complain or go to the front desk and complain. If they're a rewards member and they were listening to nuisance alarms all day due to testing, they're going to want some sort of compensation. And how does the hotel do that? They give them points. Points are monetary value. So all of the points they give away as a result of the disruption from the fire alarm system translates to dollars. And showing them that, you know, the install of the system is like the dating, but then the marriage is sort of what comes after that. And they could see that there was a lot of opportunity for a long and prosperous marriage. Custom controls programming. I love that even in the technical training Brian just mentioned, there's a workbook for custom controls programming, and there's some modules that can be done. So if anyone needs to brush up on their skills, you know, if you look at the new Marriott Mod 14, the sounder base, it's no longer required if you're using custom controls programming with addressable notification, because you're going to use your smoke CO combo to detect or heat to detect the threat. It's going to ping the panel. The panel's going to ping the multi-tone AV or the speaker or speaker strobe, and it's going to respond with a T3, a T4, or a 520. And if they have a 4100 ES and it's voice, which we see this is where the industry is going, right? Intelligible instructions on how to notify occupants of any given threat, not a tone. Most people don't know the difference between a T3 and a T4. So the great thing is our system is already equipped to do all of this stuff now. Okay, so I'll just fly through this. I just want to say the CO cartridge, very, very, very well received. The fact that we have 10 years on our smoke cartridge, and it notifies the panel when it's up for expiration, and that they can stash these and have the engineer go ahead and pop them in, or even have someone come in and pop them all in and then run a sensitivity test. They can then have a perfectly displayed report of all of their initiating devices. And with that, with CO codes changing and morphing all the time, and more incidents of events, sadly, in hotels, people expiring, challenges of having to evacuate the building due to CO, we can adjust using custom controls programming any level of sequence, right? So if you wanted a secondary alarm indication in order to prompt this to kick into CO alarm versus supervisory, we can do that in custom controls programming. So there's just so many things. Network synchronization was another. You can run Class A in your risers, Class B down the hall, T-tap, no end of line. And now we have synchronization through the power supply in the panel. So they're very aware of having antiquated devices that require sync modules, rather, that require sync modules to make these devices work, and now to understand that they can accomplish all of these things without having to worry about that. So I'm going to share all of these details as a follow-up in the chat, and I know I'm running out of time, but again, CO is moving into a different direction, and recognizing that our priority 2 alarm button is fully equipped to take on CO as an alarm and latch as an alarm condition. General alarm, of course, would override that, but it's great if first responders come on the scene and they notice that there is an alarm indication as well as a priority 2. Some people put a sticker over it. If you're using the touchscreen, that's great, because then you can just change the characters and describe it as CO alarm. But if it latches separately, again, it gives the first responders an indication that we not only have a fire here, we also have a CO issue. So it can be addressed properly. It was quickly mentioned about the IP communicator. You know, now that we're going to have our SafeLink 2 card that pops right in the real estate of the CAN on the IP communicator, and can offer with a little SIM card up to 3 users, depending on admin credentials. If there's an indication on the panel or the annunciator, someone off site, someone on site will get an email. And then from there, you can forward it to a text message just by forwarding your email to, you know, Elizabeth at Verizon 954, yada, yada. So also very inexpensive. The email thing is becoming very, very popular with the hotels. Networking, of course, message appliances. Again, I'm going to share this. I'm going through it super quick. Another thing that's coming up, intelligibility, not only within the building, but outside the building. If it's a large venue and they're hosting weddings and they do events and they have large crowds outside, do they have an intelligible way to communicate with those people? And so that's where we have great partners with our max value program like Hyperspike. We could continue to add our speakers, which are great with intelligibility, even being used in the coffee shop and the gym to play music with 8 channels of voice, right? Very intelligible, great. But in a challenging ambient area like that, we are so lucky to have Hyperspike that supports us and come out and do sound modeling and really educate the customers on, depending on how they use their venue, which one of these speakers would fit the bill, and it ties directly into our system. Okay, so I think I'm kind of running out of time, so I don't know if there's going to be time for Q&A, but I just want to pass back over to Erin and Peter and say that I am here for more information. If anybody would like to go in depth a little bit further and see more about the Mod 14, the brand standards, things like that. Otherwise, you will be hearing directly from us as a follow-up to Hotel Point by October 1st. That's sort of our launch date of sending out all of the information. After we have time to work through all the data, we'll be sharing all of that with you. So that's all I have. Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you, Elizabeth. Really good update. Thank you for sharing all that information. So now on the final piece here, I'm just going to take you through a quick marketing update. Just a few of the things that we've got going on. Next slide, Erin. So I know that there's a lot of things happening all the time, and with all of our worlds and businesses, and sometimes the stuff that's happening from a marketing standpoint, some of it is very visible, and some of it happens behind the scenes. And I know one of the things that came up on the survey customer engagement survey that was done earlier this year, is what, a desire to see us do more to build the brand and to get more exposure of the brand in the marketplace. So that's one of the things I do want to talk about. So first of all, I'm very happy to say that the Autocall catalog has been finished. Since our last session together, we finished, there's 2 versions published. There's both an international version, which covers Canada and Asia, which was just released, and then the US only version. And I've got the covers on there. The covers are the same, but in the lower left-hand corner, you can, where the circle is, there's a little subtitle that tells you which catalog it is. And the catalogs are available from the website in 2 formats. One of them is a booklet format, which is just 1 page where you can print that out on the printer and, staple it and it looks okay. The other version is a 2-page spread, because the way the catalog is designed, when it's printed and it's opened up, some of the diagrams go across 2 pages. So that's what the difference of the 2 of them are, between the 1-page booklet and the 2-page spread. We've sent the catalog over for translation for Canadian French, and that is in process. I don't have an ETA on that yet, but it should be it shouldn't take that long now that everything has been done. So very happy that this is finished and in your hands. Next slide. The other thing, I know we've talked about this a lot before, but I wanted to highlight the Industry Roundtable podcast series. This is a screenshot essentially of SoundCloud and all of the different episodes we have. We just published our 9th episode, which was Roger talking with his guest about NISET, what NISET is, why it's important, and how you get NISET certified, and some of the changes to NISET. And then we've already recorded another session with the University of Maryland, which is what is a fire protection engineer, an FPE, and that talks a lot about the roles, and then also the University of Maryland program, and gives you some insight into the different pathways into becoming an FPE. So that'll be coming October 4th. That's our next one, and we're recording episode 11 actually Monday. So we'll have one ready for November as well. Again, these are available now not only on SoundCloud, but they're available through Spotify and iTunes. So they're really easy for you to go on iTunes and search for and subscribe. Definitely recommend that you do that, and also share these with your customers. We're getting good reviews online, and the number of plays is actually steadily growing. So we're averaging several hundred plays a month now, and each episode that we publish, it goes up a little bit higher, which is really good to see that we're getting traction. So again, Industry Roundtable, and if you have any topics that you want us to cover, anything at all, send it over and let us know, and we'll put it on the list, because we're always looking for content. Next, Evan. All right, so this is an eye chart with lots of cool little graphs, and the only thing I missed here, I think, was a pie chart. But what I wanted to do is just take a few seconds to touch on the Autocall digital program. And I know I've mentioned this before, but basically there's 2 main programs to the digital program, and then the email piece on top of that. So we are doing throughout all of the areas of the world that we sell Autocall, which is the US, Middle East, and Asia Pac, targeted LinkedIn promotions for Autocall. So what we're doing is we're paying money through our creative agency to develop and place banners, posts, and targeted ads. And those ads are looking at people's profiles, and they're targeting people with key job descriptions that we've identified, people who are engineers, people who are contractors, people who work in the fire alarm industry, and also key industry groups that those sorts of people are members of. So between those 2 approaches, our banner ads and our LinkedIn work is reaching over 1 million people every time we do an activity. So there's a tremendous breadth of people that are being hit in all the countries that we sell the product with. The approach that we're taking on this is that we're feeding content pieces, things that are educational and useful, like the podcasts, like the white papers we've written on the BSIU, those other things that are educational, that drive these people to see the brand, to interact with those pieces from the brand, and then hopefully to continue their interactions and turn into a lead, and which of course we pass over to the ASMs and they share with you. The site, and then the second piece is the Google search, which is your traditional paying for keywords, fire alarm, addressable notification, etc. So we've given the agency a whole fleet of keywords and competitors' names. And then when people do searches for things, then this money helps push Autocall to the top of those searches so that they can, they'll see our products and they'll get driven to it. The two bar graphs on the right are interesting because what they show is the traffic to the Autocall website, and they're showing the sources of the Autocall traffic. And what I wanted you to just take away from that is that since we started the digital campaign about 4 months ago, the traffic to the website has increased and the source of the traffic has changed. So what we're seeing is a growth in the traffic that's being driven by the social media that we're putting in and by the advertising that we're putting in, and then an overall increase in traffic totally, which is exactly what we want to see. And then the bottom bar there, which is the Autocall LinkedIn, shows that, again, correspondent with some of the digital activity that we're doing, we're seeing a regular increase in visitors to the Autocall site and a regular increase in the amount of people following our LinkedIn and our Twitter. So we still have a lot of work to do here in growing the exposure and so forth, but we're having positive results, and we are going to be heavily focusing on digital starting in October and through the rest of the fiscal 2022. So getting some traction for sure. And Aaron and Eric have been working very diligently to start having even more interaction on LinkedIn in terms of sharing posts and following our various partners and reposting things that our partners have done and retweeting things that our partners have done to really get that sort of interaction up to the next level. And Aaron, I don't want to put you on the spot here, but I don't know if there's anything that you want to jump in and talk about with that. So I know you had some great work done over the last week or so.
Yeah, just that we've gotten a lot more access than we had before, so we're going to be able to share a lot more and be able to follow more dealers. And just wanted to talk about the catalog and the podcast. The easiest way to get to both of those is to go to the homepage and the news section, and you'll see the podcasts, latest podcasts, and the links to the catalogs.
Awesome. So that's one of the things that's going on the digital side, and we're going to be spending more money on that as we go forward, and we're going to be increasing our level of activity on it. And then the final thing is emails. We do something called an EDM, which is basically a monthly email to everybody who's subscribed to the not partners like yourselves, but to anyone in the world who has signed up for Autocall emails. And we've got actually several thousand people subscribed to that list, and we do hit them once a month with emails. What I want to do is increase the frequency of that touch point, and I also want to look at the lead qualification process again, now that we've been doing this for about 6 months or so. And we're going to have a review with the agency on what we can do to make it more effective and to push more activity. So I think a really strong start for this program, and we're going to keep it up and we're going to keep it going. And we want to also focus, like Aaron said, on interactions with you. So please do share with Aaron any posts that you're making, mention us. We'll pick it up. And if you have any big events coming up, lunch and learns, local events that you're going to, big milestones like an anniversary, new people joining your organization, big prestige projects that you've won, anything like that. We are interested in all that stuff, and we want to help promote that on social media with you. So that was the update that I wanted to share on the marketing side. If you want to go to the next slide, Aaron. A couple brief remarks. So now we're here for the Q&A session. I didn't see any questions come in through the chat mark, so we may have a quiet Q&A here. I didn't know if any one of the speakers had any questions that they had come in, or if any wrap-up remarks that they wanted to make. Now would be the time, I think. So no other questions? No questions. Evan, did you want to wrap things up? Brian, Elizabeth, any comments you wanted to add?
I would just add that there has been a huge effort by all of our ASMs and our FSCs to contact all of you, our partners, as we head into the end of the year to discuss, options of what we have ready on the shelf to be shipped out ASAP. We'll continue to have those conversations with you and get this stuff off our shelves and into your hands. And really it comes down to, we know that we're facing some challenges, as Patrick alluded to, and there's some ways that we can mitigate those by getting the ready to sell product into your hands versus, waiting for maybe some product that has longer lead times. And we would suggest all of you to continue ordering early so that you aren't running into many issues with delivery, and obviously have the understanding that when you do submit orders, invoices are to follow, and there's a lot of partners waiting for material. And so if you are placing those orders, please accept the invoice to come running with them, whether you're originally looking for order complete or not, because we do need to make sure that product is getting into the hands of those that need it right away. So please work with your ASMs. They will confirm what we have on the shelves versus what we don't have on the shelves, and probably more so, look for opportunity to remove some of the stuff off the shelves that can get onto planes and trucks right away into your hands. But thank you to all of you, as we probably won't touch base with any type of large group in the next couple days here as we close out our fiscal year. So we just want to say thank you. We appreciate the support, and we're excited for our new fiscal 22.
Thanks, Evan. I was going to say the same. Guys, really, thank you. And for those of you who are attending the Fire Chat weeklies that we do, I did something similar, more in depth, of course, this week. But we really encourage you to reach out. I added some of the files we discussed here, the brand standards, go ahead and download them. Again, you can reach out to your ASM or to us, FSCs, we're here. So appreciate all the work you're doing. And as we close out the year, amazing job, especially through all the challenges. So thank you all.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll be posting this replay online in the next few hours. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.